Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. Hope you're doing well today. I thought I would do a whiteboard video today for you guys and discuss silent autoimmunity and how it's commonly found in people with Hashimoto's. So when I work with people, we find all the time, if it's not already known, that the person has autoimmunity against other tissues in their body than just their thyroid. So maybe they have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune attack against the thyroid, but they also commonly have other autoimmune conditions. Now, sometimes they don't know this. As a matter of fact, in most cases, people are not aware that they have autoimmunity because it's silent. And the fact that it's silent is because there are really stages of autoimmunity. Typically, the first stage of an autoimmune process, you're going to be completely asymptomatic, meaning you're not even going to know you have it, because what you'll see on blood testing is that there are antibodies indicating that there's an immune response, but there are no symptoms. So that would be stage one. That's ideal situation where you want to catch autoimmunity and you want to try to make dietary and lifestyle changes to dampen that autoimmune process and try to put it into remission. Okay, stage one. Stage two is where you're going to have antibodies and you start experiencing symptoms. Now, this might be 5 or 10 years after this autoimmune process began. So you start to have significant symptoms, but they still may not identify the autoimmunity itself, because it may not be severe enough to really say, you know what, this is really characteristic of this autoimmune problem. And so it can be even longer until you reach stage 3, where there's such significant destruction of the tissue or the organ that it's basically failing. Like, for example, the thyroid would be gone and you'd have really significant noticeable changes on imaging. And so if it were rheumatoid arthritis, the joint would be so destroyed and the hand would be so swollen that it would be very, very obvious. So that would be stage 3. So the real key here is to know that if you have Hashimoto's, that there's about a 50% chance, from what we understand from the scientific literature, that you can have another autoimmune condition. So you need to be aware of this possibility. And really the take home here is, if you're autoimmune, you have to work on the drivers of the autoimmune process. You have to. You really, if you ignore it, a lot of people do, and I get it. You don't want to deal with changing your diet, changing your lifestyle, and doing things that are just really not, don't make you happy, right? You want to do things that make you happy and that are fun, and I get it that there's a lot of things that are more fun to do than changing your diet to like an autoimmune based diet. I get it, I know that, but when you really look at the greater picture and you say, you know what, why do I want to be healthy long term? Like, there are a lot of other reasons that make it worth making those changes. But you need to be aware that this is a real possibility for you, and one of the best things you can do to prevent that is to actually work on the autoimmunity as soon as you learn that you have it. Okay, so if you have Hashimoto's, you start working on the drivers. Food proteins, immune reactivity to food, partially digested food proteins, pathogens like bacteria, fungal infections, viruses, parasites, and even environmental chemicals. And also addressing, the stress component and your abnormal hormone levels. If you have problems with your stress hormone cortisol, that will really affect and can predispose you to things like leaky gut or intestinal permeability that can lead to increased immune reactivity and autoimmunity. So there are a lot of different things you need to look at, but there are a lot of places that you can start to really begin helping yourself. But I want to kind of go through some basic facts for you guys to really help you put this in perspective. So we're talking about other autoimmune conditions that are primarily we're talking about silent autoimmunity. So you don't know that it's actually occurring. Now, having one autoimmune condition increases the risk of a second one. And I said there's about a 50% chance you'll develop a second one. Autoimmunity, a lot of times it starts as silent. Like I said, there are three stages. 3 stages. The first one is silent. The second one's symptomatic, but you're not symptomatic in a clear way that helps you identify it. Stage 3 is where there's significant destruction. And this can go anywhere from, this can take, it can take anywhere up to 15 or 20 years to get the autoimmune diagnosis, and you would have had antibodies well before that. Okay, well before that. So if you detect antibodies but there's no symptoms, then that is actually that's a great window of opportunity, because you're in stage 1, you catch it early, you do everything you can to improve it. So 3 stages. It's more common than heart disease and cancer combined. Guys, we have an exploding epidemic of autoimmunity. And that is the absolute fact. It is more common than heart disease and cancer combined. And it's, unfortunately, how do you treat autoimmunity? From a conventional medical model, there's only palliative treatments, meaning basically steroids and anti-inflammatories, and then if it gets to a certain point, then there's going to be recommendations for biological medications, which basically suppress the immune system so that the body doesn't continue destroying your own tissues. But that also has a lot of potential side effects that, other cancers that are secondary, a lot of other problems that opens you up to, because it really shuts down the immune system to a significant degree, can make you more susceptible to infections and colds and other things that can be very, very serious. So more than 90%, this is an important number, guys, more than 90% of low thyroid or hypothyroidism is because of Hashimoto's. So here's the thing. If you have a low thyroid, you have hypothyroidism, and if you don't know if you have Hashimoto's, the few good questions and a few things that we'll commonly see. If your doctors have had to adjust your medications up over time, or maybe up and down over time, that's a pretty good indication that you have something else going on. Okay? If they put you on 1 dose of thyroid hormone replacement and you're fine and you've never had to have it adjusted for years, then it's probably not Hashimoto's, but it doesn't mean it's not. I mean, 90%. So if you have a low thyroid, you have a 9 out of 10 chance of having Hashimoto's as the cause of your low thyroid function. Okay? Now keep in mind that the Hashimoto's is an immune attack against the thyroid, so it destroys the thyroid and it decreases the gland's ability to make thyroid hormone, which will promote low thyroid function. But it also does a lot of other things that affects your body's ability to use the hormone. So you don't, because of the inflammatory load, the inflammatory chemicals produced by the autoimmune process in Hashimoto's, and really in all autoimmune conditions, the inflammatory load will create problems with your body's sensitivity to your thyroid hormone. It decreases sensitivity at the level of the cell. So you can have normal quantities of hormone but still not feel well. It's really common. And so that's one of the things that we really help people on, is addressing those other factors, right? So if the quantity is correct and you still don't feel well, guys, there are lots of other possibilities and reasons that you may not feel well that's affecting your body's ability to transport or to use the thyroid hormone that's in circulation, okay? There are currently over 80 autoimmune conditions identified. That's, guys, 1 in 5 people have an autoimmune condition. 1 in 5. That's a tremendous number of people suffering with this, guys. And there's the thing is like how do you approach it? What can you do for yourself? Well, you start with dietary and lifestyle changes, and you start eating foods that are nutrient dense, that are real whole foods, and you begin assessing what's going on with your body. I mean, if you're going to do it for yourself, you begin assessing your own problems. What type of symptoms and dysfunction are you having? Are you having problems with blood sugar regulation? Do you have digestive tract problems? Do you have problems with energy production that could be adrenal related? Do you have like a lot of bloating or belching and burping that could suggest low stomach acidity or enzyme deficiencies? How does your stool look? Is it always loose? Are you constipated all the time? There's a lot of signs and symptoms and things that you can work on based on an assessment of how you're doing. And so that's where, a lot of the things that we try to do, we try to create and give you guys information that you can take to help yourself. And, I work a lot with people one-on-one to be very specific, to put together precise interventions for them. So assess with a lot of testing what is specifically going on with them, and create a plan to address the specific problems we find. We work with people all over the world and across the country doing that. But a lot of people don't have access to that, and we know that. And we are doing our very best, and we're constantly working on. We probably spend more time than anything on creating information and tools for you guys to help yourself, and doing it in a very cost-effective way. We spend a lot of time trying to help people that don't have access to a lot of these other tools and investigative tools that we use. One of the things that we've done, you guys have probably heard us talk about it, is our transformation community. Guys, we have our exact dietary program that we've used with over it's probably a few thousand people at this point, to address inflammation, improve their gut function, and leaky gut, balance blood sugar. And then we have you do a self-assessment where you figure out what type of supplementation might be beneficial for you. Guys, that is $20 per month. That's it. And there's like, you can cancel it at any time. Plus you get like a discount of 35% on any of the supplements you buy. You can't buy supplements cheaper. You can't buy these supplements cheaper. There's just no place. Plus, so you save a ton of money, and you get access to literally some of the leading edge information on natural health. And it's no joke. We're committed to making that the very best that you are ever going to find. And it is, and we're dedicated to that. If you want to be part of that group, guys, you just go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCS and you can sign up for it. It's $20 per month. That's it. You will save far more than that on nutritional supplements, I promise you. And you're going to get access to world-class information. And I say that trying to be as humble as possible, because we are dedicated, and I am constantly studying and researching, because I'm really passionate about trying to help people help themselves and really change the face of healthcare. We've got to do something to help people, because this is an epidemic, and there are millions of people that cannot get better, that are not getting better. We've got to be able to help people. I mean, look at all these problems that are occurring, all the issues with the brain, the neurodegenerative conditions, the brain conditions, the brain problems on their own. You notice I have in purple here, brain, pancreas, celiac, which is gut, and some other things here. These are all, when we see people that have autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's, the most common autoimmune conditions that I see the autoimmunity expand to in people with Hashimoto's, number one is the brain. The brain, neurological structures in the brain, or enzymes in the brain that have very important functions, like GAD65, which also has a role in the pancreas in the release of insulin. So you see very commonly, and I think it's because some of the structures, like the chemical makeup, the protein structures of some of these components, like the GAD65 or the cerebellum, the back part of the brain, has a similar structure to like your thyroid peroxidase, the enzymes that are attacked in Hashimoto's. They look so similar that the immune system can very easily start reacting to these tissues or enzymes because they're similar in structure. They look similar. They look so close that it can lightly attach, or it can't tell them apart. Now, we know that like celiac disease, there's a connection with celiac, which is basically gut autoimmunity. And then how many people have anemia? Like you have pernicious anemia. You might not know it, but there's pernicious anemia. This is also something I see commonly with Hashimoto's. It's where the immune system in Hashimoto's is attacking the thyroid, it's attacking the enzymes, TPO, thyroid peroxidase, and thyroglobulin, a protein in the thyroid. And we'll very commonly see that autoimmunity, if there's a second condition, these are the things that I'll see more commonly, is that the parietal cells, which are cells in the stomach, that actually produce stomach acid, HCl, and something called intrinsic factor, which allows you to absorb B vitamins, that's what this is, intrinsic factor, IF, can get attacked. Now, when this occurs, it causes the person to not only have problems with absorption of B vitamins, so they have problems with their red blood cells and they become anemic, but it can also create problems with stomach acidity. Now, stomach acidity is a very big issue for digestion, absorption, protection from infections in the gut. Some major issues here. So this is what we commonly see it expanded to. These problems and things like the brain alone, this all drives an inflammatory process. And we know that the common theme amongst these chronic degenerative conditions is inflammation. And against especially neurological, neurodegenerative problems is expected it's expected in the future to bankrupt the United States. They don't even know how they're going to care for all the people. And I'm telling you right now that when they start, that if you look at the leading edge Alzheimer's research, they've basically classified Alzheimer's into, I believe, 5 different subcategories. And I'm telling you guys that most of these things, what they're finding is that they can be significantly improved, and they can even be prevented if we do the right things with diet and lifestyle. Now, some of them are, there's subcategories of it, so there's different drivers of the process. Some of the drivers of blood sugar might be Alzheimer's, some might be infections, some might be traumatic brain injuries. There are all these different drivers of the disease process and the degeneration of the brain that you can do things about. You can do things about it. But many of those things are, one of the most common drivers of Alzheimer's, it's in the literature, it's being called type 2 diabetes, or I'm sorry, there's 1.5 type 3 diabetes in the scientific literature, Alzheimer's disease, because we know that loss of blood sugar regulation damages the brain and neurological structures. And so what do you do for that? Well, I would have you do the same dietary approaches that we take in our program. What's their goal? Our transformation program is to balance blood sugar, improve the gut function significantly, heal leaky gut, and decrease inflammation. That's the core. That's the core of where we start almost everyone. So I want you guys to know that if you really are struggling with this, or you're trying to improve your health, or you just want to save money with supplementation, join our community. We're trying to save you guys money by joining it. Like, you actually save yourself money, and then you get access to our program, and we're adding our detoxification program to it very, very soon. It's going to be one of the best detoxification programs that's ever been created. And I truly believe that, because I have been researching nonstop for years, and I've been part of so many different approaches, and I've looked at them, that I am truly trying to make something amazing, and that will change people's lives forever and have an impact on you, will positively impact your family, your community, will make a difference in the world. And it will be something that can live long past my time. That's what our mission is. It's a really big goal, and it's a big mission, but that's what we're trying to do. And if you're really stuck and you just want to have someone try to help you figure this out and not even go through something that's semi-guided like our programs, then we're here for you, and we will do everything that we can. I work with people one-on-one around the country and around the world. Just go to our website at drbradshuk.com and look at the application for care page. And if that looks like it's a good fit for you, then you can contact our office, and my staff will help answer any questions you have. And you know what we'll do? We will get extensive testing done, and we will figure out, to the best of our ability, what is creating your problems. We will come up with a precise plan to try and help you get your health as optimal and back as much as possible. But this is, the good news is, guys, is that there are a lot of different problems that can be helped by changing diet and lifestyle and using some temporary nutritional supplementation. You just got to do it. That's it. You've got to make the decision to do it. So guys, I hope this has helped you out. It's 6 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here and go home. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and we will do everything we can to answer those and get back to you guys. If you want, I'm serious, guys, you should go check out everything. If you just go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCS, you can look at the page and look at everything that we're including in our program and in our transformation community. That's really what you're joining, and you get access to our programs that we're creating, all of our guidebooks we've created. You get access to 35% discount on all of the supplements. There's 20,000 supplements, the most physician only, free shipping over $50. You get access to our transformation community, which is a closed, small Facebook group. It's not our huge group, and it allows us to have more feedback and more impact on a small group of people that are really committed to getting better. And it's only $20. You can cancel at any time. There's no catch. We're just trying to change the world. If you want to be part of that, come join us. We would love to see you really improve your health. We'd love to see that. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful day. Please post your questions. Talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.